Hey everybody, Denise here from Radiant Ink Beauty Studios, here to talk about body art licenses. Are they hard to get? Well, yes and no. It just depends. Actually, the first thing, of course, is check the state that you're in. So what I'll be talking about today is mainly California, which may be true for some states, but I know a lot of states have their different protocols on how you're going to get your body art license. So this is what I'm going to be talking about here for California. The first thing, the California requirements are a hepatitis B vaccination or a signed declination form. And basically what that's telling people or telling the state is that you are either going to decline or you had the hepatitis B shot. So you can also decline it. It's not going to prohibit you from getting your license. It's just something that they're going to have on file. The next thing is the bloodborne pathogen certificate. So before you take a class, this is the online class that you should be required to take. It's usually like $24.95. Make sure that the bloodborne pathogen class is actually something that your county is going to recognize. I made the mistake. I'm in LA County. There's only a few online websites that they will allow for you to take their class. So make sure you check that out. I made the mistake and I took the online class and they said, no, this is not one that we recognize as somebody that we sponsor or endorse for the body art license for Los Angeles County. So I had to redo the whole thing again. And it's like $24 or $25, which isn't a whole lot, but that sucks because bloodborne pathogens, you guys, it's like a 3.5 hour class. It's time tickered at the bottom so that it can make sure that, yes, you took a 3.5 hour class and it is all about bloodborne pathogens, HIV. We're working with blood or, secretions, body fluids, all that fun stuff. So they want you to know, they want to be able for you to know how to react or how to, if something were to happen. Basically, it is a way for us to say really sanitary, really cleansely, anyway, clean in our studio environment, and that we're aware of HIV. How long does HIV last on non-porous surfaces? How do we clean things? Do we use alcohol, bleach, all these things? So it's a very informative, like 3 hours. And then the last part is like a 40 question exam. And I think you can miss like four or something like that. And then you'll be granted your bloodborne certificate right away. So you're going to have to give them your certificate. The next thing is obviously your government ID. So either your driver's license or a passport. And speaking of that too, we need to provide them with a passport size photo for our license. And you can get this done at CVS or a drugstore. There's a lot of apps now too, you guys. This is what I did. And you can do your own passport picture because that's what's going to be on your certificate. So also with the application, you guys, are the fees. And I think right now it's about $45 to $49 to get your license, which actually isn't that bad. Okay, and here's the biggie. So on your application, it is going to say, where are you practicing? Where are you going to be doing your permanent makeup services? And this can trip people up because back in the day, they didn't really have this type of rule. And people were practicing out of their garages. They were practicing at home. And I understand completely that we need to start somewhere, but it isn't safe. It hasn't been inspected. You guys know. And also, it's not legally okay. It's not a legally safe thing for you or for the client because there could be problems and lawsuits. So these things are in place for a purpose. And in the state of California, to my knowledge, we cannot be performing in a house. We can't really have a home office. We can have it maybe separate than our home, but it can't be a room in our home, to my knowledge. So location challenges, you guys, can be pretty tricky because when you're first starting out, you're like, well, I don't have anywhere to go. I don't even have clients. How am I even going to have money to rent out a facility? And I know, I get it. That is what's challenging. And when you take your classes, most trainers, most academies don't usually let you use their academy, their location, their building, their address to get you your body art license. They just help you get training. And so there's a lot of hurdles, you guys, with trying to get your license sometimes, or getting into this industry as a whole. It can get pretty tricky, right? And I understand, because there is a liability involved. As soon as a, like, say, Radiant Ink, I take on the liability of your newness. I take on the liability of you working on clients as a brand new student. So there are some training facilities that don't want that liability, and they just are like, well, you got to go figure this out on your own. And that really stinks. So in my journey, you guys, I've built two businesses, two permanent makeup businesses, and I get it completely. This is where it gets hard, because we already are on the because we already are on that wavelength, or that energy of, I want to do this. I'm going to put myself through this training. I'm tattooing people's faces. It's going to be hard, but I think this is what I want to do. And so we spend a lot of money and we spend a lot of energy and we go through all that anxiety. And then we're like, okay, I went through the training. Now what? And then it's like, oh crap, here's my next hurdle. I got to get my body art license. And so a lot of, like I said, a lot of trainers won't help you with this part. But at Radiant Ink, I absolutely know that this is a very important part for the value that I provide my students, because I do help you get your body art license. So I know I've touched on this before, and my journey was Beach City Brows, which was my first business. And I had gotten so blessed with a 350 square foot storefront that I got, instead of having to go to like solo salons or Phoenix salons. I almost did, but those were a lot more money. And I just didn't have the clientele yet. So I know there's a lot of you out there that might be in the same boat, and it's hard to know, like, okay, am I going to be able to afford this rent? So it's a whole thing. But I knew that I had to just keep going. So my leap of faith, I opened up Beach City Brows, and it was perfect, 350 square foot studio. And then I expanded and rebranded and became Radiant Ink, and it's now 2,500 square feet. So, so much bigger. And it was very important to me that I had a beautiful space that also included an area with enough chairs, because I do offer 2 months of free chair rental for my students to come in and be able to relax a little bit, take the edge off, because you're going to have me walking around. I will absolutely help you. Those first models, and sometimes even your first year, is petrifying. Or even when you start a new service, because it's new, and you're tattooing someone's face. So that's not always the easiest job, right? I don't know. Sometimes I think, why did I pick something so freaking hard? um, but now, you guys, because of my bigger studio, I love the fact that I can offer that. And some people don't have the capacity, some trainers don't, to offer that, and I understand completely. But with me and my safety net program, that was definitely something that I wanted to make sure that my students had. And with that too is you're covered under my insurance. So that's a whole nother thing too. You have to think of not just your license, but also getting some insurance. So my students are also covered under my insurance, which is really nice. Also, something you don't have to think of. Also, what's important, you guys, is that the license only lasts for a year. So you do have to reapply every year. And when you do that, you have to put again, what facility are you practicing at? So sometimes some of the people that I helped out, obviously they'll fall off, from being here. I won't see them. And if they try to use Radiant Ink, I'm not going to reissue their body art license, because that happens a lot. People grow, they'll move out, and sometimes they go into facilities that aren't fully permitted. I have to have a separate license from the health department, because they come in and inspect everything. I get this done once a year, where my inspector will come in. She brings a thermometer. She checks the water just to make sure that it's a certain temperature to kill germs. There's a lot of things that we have to do as a business owner And that's a good thing, right? Because that's going to protect you and it's also going to protect the clients. So some people do, they'll go to a nail salon and they're not even supposed to be doing permanent makeup. They're not zoned. Here in California, you cannot do permanent makeup in a hair and nail salon, not unless it's its own room with four walls and a plumbed sink. So there's some variables there that you have to look out for. And it kind of puts us in a position where, sometimes it's very hard for us permanent makeup artists to find a home. So zoning is very tough on us too, which I won't even get into. So the last thing, you guys, is that California is going to start regulating our body art licenses. Now, I know this is so well overdue because, people ask me, how long did it take for you to get where you are? You must have taken so much schooling and whatnot. And yes and no. Yes, I've spent thousands, maybe 60 plus $1,000 on my in-person training online in the past 7 years. Education, continuing education is super important to me. So I have spent a lot of my own money that was not necessary. It wasn't required, but for us right now, when I tell people, yes, you can take a 3 day class, a 5 day class, and start working on people, it blows everybody's minds because that is not really enough time to truly be able to be honed in on a craft. That is why for me, I do have 5 day classes, but the after support is continuous, and the shadowing and the chair rental and all the things, until they change it, which is what's happening. I like to tell people who are interested in getting into this industry is that if you are, get into this industry now because California is regulating it to where you're going to have to take more classes, longer hours, which is so good. Don't get me wrong. This, you guys, is a long time coming, and everybody can't stand how our industry is structured. And I didn't make the rules. This is just how it's been. It is the wild, wild west. You can take classes and start working on people. But are you ready? No, you're not ready. You have so much homework to do. You have so much other stuff to do, models, getting your clients. So, no, you aren't ready. You aren't ready yet, but that's how we are right now. And they will start regulating it. But when you get your body art license and you continue to keep going, you will get grandfathered in to where you will not have to go back and take a bar exam or, take this other lengthy classes because you've already gotten your body art license. So if anybody's out there and they wanted to get into this industry, I suggest you do it now and get in the same way that we did, with the notion that it is going to take, a lot of energy, a lot of practice, a lot of time that you're going to have to still put into this to get where you want to be. The 5 day classes, are going to be a thing in the past, which is good. But still, with these longer classes, you will still have to put in a lot of that work too, because this is a skill, it's an art, and it's not something that you just pick up like riding a bike and you're good to go. I wish it was like that, trust me. But no, unfortunately, it's not. So that's another thing I wanted to mention, that who knows, but pretty soon, within the next couple of years, it will be regulated and we will be required to have longer classes, longer hours, and things like that. So I think that's it for now, you guys. I hope this has helped you to kind of figure out the body art license process, what I offer here at Radiant Ink. And absolutely, if you're in another state or another location or somewhere else in California and you'd like my help, I'm here to help everybody. I did get into this industry with zero help. I had to do everything on my own and navigate through these rough waters. So for me, that's what my goal is to help other people like you who are, not so sure, maybe just struggling a little bit. Let me know, you guys. I'm new to this. I'm new to YouTube, so if you could kindly like and subscribe and comment, let me know what you guys want me to talk about. I'm a jack of all trades. I do so many things, permanent makeup wise, brows, lips. The only thing I don't really do is eyeliner. And that's because I got trained in it, didn't have a model. It's a whole thing. I'll tell you guys later. But anyway, let me know, you guys, okay? And until next time, you take care. Mwah.